For years, Microsoft operated on a single arrogant assumption that if you wanted to play PC games, you had absolutely no choice but to pay their toll and accept whatever came with their operating system. They built an entire ecosystem designed to trap you inside a recurring revenue model, essentially turning your personal gaming library into a service you rent rather than software you actually own. But a massive open-source gaming rebellion is tearing down those exact paywalls, and it is sending the entire Xbox division into an absolute meltdown. Gamers are suddenly realizing that they do not need to be trapped inside a heavily monitored, bloated corporate sandbox just to play the latest releases. Instead, decentralized, open-source game launchers and advanced anti-DRM software are allowing players to fully own their libraries without any corporate interference. This quiet revolution is delivering a fatal blow to Microsoft's recurring revenue models, causing widespread panic among their executives and delivering a massive victory for true consumer ownership. To truly understand why this massive shift is happening right now, you have to look at how Microsoft has treated its most loyal user base over the past few years. There was a time when Windows was simply the unquestioned standard for PC gaming, a neutral platform that stayed out of your way and let your expensive hardware do the heavy lifting. But recently, the operating system has felt more like a hostage situation. Microsoft has aggressively transformed Windows 11 into a bloated, resource-hungry system that actively fights against your gaming performance. They have shoved artificial intelligence tools like Copilot into every corner of the interface, running constant background telemetry and eating up the memory and processing power you actually need to run your games smoothly. Windows Copilot alone now uses between 650 and 700 megabytes of RAM as a persistent background process, stealing nearly a gigabyte of your system's memory for an AI assistant you probably never asked for. It gets even worse when you look at the forced updates. Millions of gamers with high-end NVIDIA graphics cards have watched their expensive machines turn into stuttering messes overnight. Routine Windows security updates have literally cut gaming performance in half, dropping frame rates from a perfectly smooth 71 frames per second down to an unplayable 30 frames per second until emergency drivers could be issued. Your expensive graphics card did not suddenly get worse. Windows made it worse, and while your machine struggles to run basic titles, Microsoft's entire modern gaming strategy is built on forcing you into their subscription economy, specifically Xbox Game Pass. The corporate focus has completely shifted away from empowering players to own their games, moving instead toward a model where you pay a monthly tax to access a rotating digital catalog. It is the ultimate corporate trap because the exact second you stop paying that monthly fee, your entire library vanishes into thin air. Microsoft wants you trapped inside an operating system that monitors your behavior to feed advertising algorithms, forces mandatory updates that can restart your computer in the middle of a competitive match, and demands a recurring payment just to let you play. They assumed gamers would simply accept this because, historically, if you wanted to play PC games, you had no other choice but to use Windows. Games were built for Windows, drivers were optimized for Windows, and anti-cheat systems trusted Windows. That monopoly created an unspoken rule in gaming culture, but that assumption is now collapsing spectacularly. The open-source world, backed by massive industry players, decided to build an escape hatch. Valve, the company behind Steam, changed everything by investing heavily in a compatibility layer called Proton. This revolutionary technology translates Windows-specific game code on the fly, allowing thousands of major titles to run flawlessly on Linux-based operating systems with absolutely no input required from Microsoft. Suddenly, the vast majority of Steam's entire game library became fully playable on Linux, completely destroying the old narrative that open-source operating systems were useless for gaming. The massive success of the Steam Deck, a handheld device that runs on a Linux-based system by default, proved to millions of everyday gamers that you do not need Windows to have a premium, high-performance gaming experience. Millions of players were using Linux without even realizing it, launching games using Proton, and having smooth experiences that directly contradicted the old narrative. And the absolute worst part for Microsoft is that these open-source environments are actually outperforming Windows. Because Linux does not have the massive background bloat, forced telemetry, and AI surveillance tools eating up system resources, gamers are consistently seeing smoother frame pacing, lower latency, and higher overall frame rates on identical hardware. In benchmark tests, popular games like Counter-Strike 2 have hit 340 frames per second on Linux, compared to just 285 on Windows 11, giving players a 19% performance boost simply by abandoning Microsoft. You are literally getting more power out of your own computer just by stripping Windows out of the equation. Then there is the anti-cheat issue, which Microsoft relied on for years as the final wall keeping competitive gamers trapped in their ecosystem. Games like Fortnite and Call of Duty were completely off limits for Linux users because of kernel-level anti-cheat software. But even here, the walls are crumbling. Easy Anti-Cheat and BattleEye, two of the most widely used anti-cheat systems in the entire gaming industry, both added official Linux support years ago. The game studios that are still blocking Linux are making a deliberate business decision, not a technical one. The moment any major publisher decides the Linux user base is large enough to matter, the switch flips in an afternoon, and the last major excuse for avoiding Linux disappears completely. The entire hardware industry is watching this happen and quietly preparing for a future where Windows is no longer the center of the gaming universe. Even NVIDIA, a company that historically prioritized Windows and famously had a rocky relationship with the open source community, is actively posting high-level engineering positions, specifically targeting Linux gaming performance. They are hiring senior software engineers to eliminate bottlenecks in Vulkan and Proton titles, paying salaries of around $200,000 a year to build the foundation for native speed gaming on Linux. You do not pay top-tier engineers that kind of money to chase a side project. You pay that kind of money when you are repositioning a company. NVIDIA is making absolutely certain that if Windows collapses as a gaming platform, they have a fully built-out Linux ecosystem ready to serve their customers. It is not just internal hardware components making the switch. At the CES 2026 electronics show, Razer, which is arguably the most Windows-loyal gaming brand on the planet, quietly displayed a Razer Blade laptop running Ubuntu Linux. They are moving away from Windows-exclusive software and building browser-based tools and cloud-connected features for their peripheral ecosystem, meaning you do not even need Windows to control your custom lighting or macros anymore. When a premium hardware brand like Razer puts Linux on their flagship hardware, that is not an accident. It is a calculated message to the industry. Companies like Lenovo are officially supporting SteamOS on their Legion Go handhelds, and Asus is expanding compatibility as well. When the companies that supply the very hardware your platform relies on start building exit doors, your monopoly is officially bleeding out. This reality is sending Microsoft's Xbox division into a total panic. Xbox hardware sales have crashed, and the grand strategy of locking every PC gamer into a monthly Game Pass subscription is falling apart because players have discovered a better, faster, and completely free alternative that actually respects their ownership. Gamers are tired of having their high-end rigs hijacked by forced AI tools. They are sick of losing competitive matches to unprompted update restarts, and they absolutely refuse to accept a future where they never truly own the games they pay for. The open source rebellion has given power back to the consumer, allowing you to buy a game once, launch it through a decentralized platform, and play it at peak performance on an operating system that stays out of your way. The era of Microsoft dictating the rules of PC gaming is coming to a highly satisfying end. What started as a quiet experiment by open source developers has evolved into a fully weaponized alternative that is outperforming the world's most expensive proprietary software. Gamers are trendsetters within PC culture, and what they normalize today becomes mainstream tomorrow. As millions of players prepare to abandon the Windows ecosystem and tear down the digital paywalls for good, the entire gaming industry is watching Microsoft's monopoly crumble in real time. So, are you going to keep paying a monthly fee to game inside a monitored, sluggish corporate sandbox? Or is it finally time to take true ownership of your hardware and join the open source rebellion? Let us know exactly where you stand in the comments below. And if you found this investigation eye-opening, Do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the real truth behind the tech industry.